A motorcyclist is dead tonight after a crash at Old Hickory Boulevard and Stonebrook Drive. Police say the 28-year-old driver tried to get around traffic by driving on the sidewalk. Investigators say he then crossed 3 lanes and ended up in oncoming traffic. That's when he crashed right into a pickup truck that was stopped at a red light. That motorcyclist was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police also tell us he was not wearing a helmet. The driver of that truck, though, was not hurt. Officers are now working to notify that motorcyclist's family.